Good morning, everybody. How are you all today? I hope you're well. Finally, we've got a dry day. Yay! It feels like it has rained every day since Christmas. It's been blowing a gale as well. We had Storm Eleanor. I haven't had yet a proper look to see if there's any damage. Just on my way in, I can see a few things have gone over. But because it's a beautiful morning, I thought I'd race down here and give you guys a little quick look around the garden in January. There won't be much to see, not much has changed, but I'm just going to have a chat as we walk around about the plans for this year. So I've brought my little plan that I made. Where was it? If you remember, hopefully you saw the video of my plan for the year. So I will show you that as I go around too. But look who's just turned up for a bit of a cuddle as well. Well, he's had a bit of a cuddle and now he's having a feed. Oh, I missed my cuddles while I was away. So what I'm going to try and do, I was going to bring my plan with me down into the garden to show you by each bed, but that will require a camera in one hand, pad in the other, which means no crutch. I think I might risk it. I might give it a go. Okay, yeah, let's give it a go. Oh, blah. Ooh, creaky knees. So like I say, it's been almost pretty much non-stop rain. I'm just looking down and going really carefully. Almost non-stop rain for 10 days. I think this is going to turn out to be a pretty wet winter. It's really mild though. I mean, it feels cold because of the damp, but actually it is really pretty mild. I don't think we've been below freezing much more than a couple of times, which, you know, ideally we want a really hard frost to kill all the slug and snail eggs that are sitting in the soil. But never mind that, the sun's out today, the birds are singing and it's gorgeous. So here we are at the top of the garden. All my pages are going to start flapping in the breeze. So, sorry, let me just get into position. So, you'll be pretty familiar with how this bed has gone over this last year, with the parsnips interplanted with the calendula. There were the chickpeas, there were the potatoes and some quinoa. Decided against the quinoa because of the space. After the potatoes came out, in went the brassicas, the broccoli and then the garlic. And then I always have a few flowers at this top end for my enjoyment, but also for the enjoyment of anyone sort of passing by as they walk down the main path. Was that a nice feed, buddy? Off you go then. So, thinking about next year, what I like to do is, I knew this was going to be an issue. It's a little bit breezy. Obviously, I've done my plan, and I've done this indoors at home. Obviously, I've been stuck indoors. But what I like to do at this stage of the year is just come down with my plan, look at it, and picture transferring it into the actual bed itself. So everything that was in bed number 2 this year will go into bed number 1 with a few changes here and there. So, you know, we're always learning, we're always finding out this works, that works, something else doesn't work. So just be prepared to modify your plan if you've come up with your plan already. But I like to sort of just get a visual at this time of year to make sure I've not I think we're all guilty of the same thing, that we're a bit greedier on the page than we actually have the space for. Garlic are looking fine. Some of them are looking a little teensy bit yellow, so I might think about giving them a feed, because if you think about it, they've now been in for 3 months, so yeah, they might need a bit of a feed. I forgot before I went off for my op to fleece the celery, but look, it's actually still putting out new growth. I'm astonished it hasn't just all keeled over completely. I will leave a couple of these for seed, because this bed next year will be tomatoes, which I won't plant until at least June, until we're really past the danger of frosts, by which time hopefully a couple of these will have given me some seed. The back end there is the remnants of the celeriac. Now, again, this is a learning curve. Try to learn all the time. These were new to me in 2017. So I seem to do them in terms of the stages and the timings. I seem to get that right. But they were quite small, so I think actually they needed quite a bit more muck than I gave them. So I will do them again this year. But when I plant them, I'm going to see if I can get some of the, some sort of chicken manure, that sort of thing that I can buy in a bag to add to their little pile, because I don't have enough garden compost. I just don't make enough, and it will all go for the beans. Everything's sort of just ticking along. Later today I'm going to have a bit of a tidying up session, so with a lot of the brassicas, oh actually I'm just going to swing you back around to the broccoli, where I've had all the heads away. Quite a few of the leaves are dying back, so I'm just going to trim those all off and let what little energy the plant's got at this time of year go into the decent leaves. And once I've finished having all the little side shoots of florets, I'll then start harvesting the leaves, and they can go in my cabbage pie that I showed you the other day. They work great in that as well. So yeah, so a bit of a tidy up with all the brassicas, and then the carrot bed. I've still got loads in there, but the ones that have basically chucked themselves right out of the ground have been attacked by, I'm not sure what, slugs maybe. So I'm thinking about having the sort of the middle row, what's left of it, and then this, oh I can't point, I've got a thing, then this side row, what's left of it, out today, because I think they've got the worst damage. Rescue any that aren't too damaged, and then with the side row on the right there, just earth them up a bit, and they should be fine for another sort of month to 2 months of harvesting. Brilliant. The poor cabbages, they've been whacked about in these winds we've had. So again, I'll just go through, tidy up, take off any of the dead dying leaves, because the slugs will like it under there with all the decaying matter. So that can be done shortly. The broccoli, oh sorry, excuse me. The broad beans, they're doing great, but then in the middle here I seem to have lost about 3 or 4 in each row, some to frost and I think some to poundings from the foxes, because they love to play trampolines on my nets. So I might plug those gaps with a spring sown variety. We'll see. I mean, I've still got loads and loads of plants in there to come, and they produced so heavily last year that, you know, I should have plenty from what's in there and what's getting away. The field beans, this bed and over there, that's my green manure. They've done really well, and in about 5 or 6 weeks or so, I'll come along with the strimmer, strim them right down to soil level, and leave the green matter on the top of the soil to just wilt for another 2, 3, 4 weeks even. And then by about the middle of March, I'll come along. Oh, it's such a beautiful sight, all this greenery, isn't it? Yeah, so by about the middle of March, I'll come along and I'll get them all turned into the soil, and it's fantastic for helping to break up my clay soil. You guys have been brilliant mentioning other ideas for breaking up the clay, so I will definitely be looking into those things for this coming year as well. And even if I can't do it this year, then for say next year. Like I say, it's always about learning, isn't it? There's always something new to learn. None of us are experts. So that's the big job in March, is to get this lot turned in. And the idea of turning it in the middle of March is so that there's a good sort of 4 or 5 weeks before planting, because they will release a lot of nitrogen once they're turned in, and it'll be too high to plant in to start with. But they'll be grand. Masses of kale still. I've picked loads, and I've also asked my friends to help themselves, but there's still loads. Again, just a little bit of a tidy up. In terms of the weeds, I mean, as you can see, let's just have a closer look in here. In terms of weeds, it's not too bad. And a lot of these little tiddly annuals, I'll just turn them in when I turn the field beans in. Obviously, if I spot something a bit more naughty like bindweed or a dandelion coming through, then I'll have them out. Oh, just looking to see how the bird feeders are doing. Look like they've been whacked around in the wind. Have they had any of the fat balls? No, peanuts not. It looks like quite a lot of seed has gone, but the lid is off a bit, so I'm wondering if the squirrels have had the lid off and have been hanging upside down and their faces down into that. Pesky squirrels. So that's the 4 main beds. As I said, there's not really anything going on at the moment. I will do some sort of a bit of tidying and tittifying, but the main things to start getting on with now before the sort of the big part of the growing season will be to, it's a bit wobbly, to sort out the herb bed and finish the deck fence area. So with the herb bed, obviously at the moment it's covered in all this bark chippings. They're not really chippings, they're just great chunks. They are eventually going to go, I'll bring you around here and show you. They're eventually going to go, oh, you're sunbathing, buddy. I'm actually going to use them as a base for this path between me and my neighbour's plots to hopefully suppress the weeds a bit. But before I put them down, I'm going to have to level this out a bit. I'd like to be getting on with it right now, but I think that might be a job too far for my knee at the moment. We'll see. And then with the fence is going to come up a bit higher, and also I need to extend it and fill in these blanks. What I'm hoping to do is, hopefully I'm not panning you guys around too fast. You see there in the middle of bed number 3, there's a stack of wood. That's all the same 2x3 wood. It's fantastic, but it's got quite a lot of nails in. It was part of some stud work in a building that was demolished. So because of all the nails, I didn't necessarily want to have to use it, but I think I'll be able to get some of the nails out, cut around some of them, and basically use it to just fill in the end of the fence here. Even if I can't go up to the height I want, at least I can get that filled in, move my compost bin back, talk to Gary about getting that grapevine from him and get that planted sooner rather than later. So yeah, I think, it's not looking too bad in terms of the work I need to do. If you think this time last year in this area I had 4 1-ton bags full of soil and rubble and bricks and rubbish from the spoil from underneath the shed, and it took me pretty much a month to get it all riddled out and spread around, and then this whole bed was a dumping ground, right through until I think it was the end of May, beginning of June. So there's definitely less to do this year than last year, which is good because I'm definitely a little bit less able. I can definitely do everything, I just need to go a little bit slowly as I do it and not risk undoing the good work that my lovely surgeon has done. So, for now, I'm going to say cheerio to you all. I hope you've got some wonderful plans for your garden for January. Just I was about to sit down on the little chest, but Rusty's right on the top of it. Yeah, I hope you've got some fun plans for your garden this year. I know it's pretty chilly and wet in most places, but if you can get out and start doing some of the jobs now, more's the better, especially if it's sort of like the structural stuff and the laying out of paths and beds. Those things, they're perfect to get done in the winter, because before we know it, it'll be March and we'll be starting to think about seeds, and we'll be too busy with our seeds to do anything else. So get out there now, get your structures done, get your paths straightened out, neatened up, get your wood chip down, whatever it is you're up to. make the most of any dry day we get at the moment and have fun while you're doing it. I'll see you all again really soon, I hope. Bye for now, and take care, everyone.